All right, everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Indie Dev, the official podcast of Graphite Lab. I'm your host, John McCula, and I'm here with even more interns. Last 2 weeks we've had Mr. Robert Coe and, Brad Ostrin on the show. And now we have 2 more interns. We have Jillian Stiles.
Heyo.
And we got Sam Wade.
Hello.
And we are live. We got about 300 people listening to this, so don't say anything that's going to embarrass yourselves.
Try not to. Try to not tarnish my reputation.
I'm just kidding. We don't even do this live. So what's up, guys? What's going on? What are y'all up to?
Not much. I mean, we're working on various projects and everything. The internship's going well so far.
How do y'all like it here?
It's fun.
It's good. It's a nice. I like hanging out with all you guys. You're a lot
good.
of fun.
Nice environment.
Good.
Yeah. No, and there's a lot of stuff to kind of interact with and learn and do. So.
Good.
Yeah.
We like having you here. Let's start with Sam Wade. Sam, so we brought you guys on as art interns. Mm-hmm. I guess art, very general, but I guess do you have any sort of specialty?
Well, I'm actually in school right now for computer animation. I go to Ringling down in Florida. That's the art school,
okay.
not the circus. Yeah.
Right.
I guess my specialty would just be.
I guess just animation.
Animation, yeah.
Okay. So you came all the way from Florida for this? For this?
Yes. Well, I actually live in St. Louis, so I come home during the summer.
Oh, okay.
Well,
that
I
makes
just go to
sense.
Florida for school.
Cool. So were you actually looking for like a game internship? Like, are you into games? Is that like kind of what you want to get into, or is it just anything that would have me animating?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of both. Like, I am interested a little bit in games, but also just kind of anything that gets like art involvement and animating in any way would interest me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you play any games? Are you playing anything right now?
A little. I like the Final Fantasy series a lot. Yeah.
Which is your favorite?
12.
13 Lightning Returns?
No, I actually haven't played that one, but 12 is my favorite by far. Have you played that one?
No, I haven't played like any of them. I played 4 a little bit and a little bit of 7.
Oh.
But none of these newer ones.
Yeah.
What even happens in 12? Who's in there? Who's the main character?
That's the one with. I can't even remember his name, honestly.
Is
He's like the blonde guy.
Is like Titus in there?
Yeah,
is that
I
his
think
name?
so. I think it's got the bunny girl.
Bunny girl, oh goodness.
Their name
Fran.
Fran.
Yeah, and the Sky Pirate.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Cool.
I also really like The Last of Us. That's another great game.
I love Last of Us.
Yeah.
And Manny D here, he loves Last of Us.
Did you play the DLC?
I did.
Yes, that was awesome.
I did very much, yeah.
It's sad.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, it was very short.
It was just that last.
To the point.
That last like combat stretch was just.
Yeah.
Kind of a bummer. Like it was so nice.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like an adventure game almost.
Yeah.
You're just kind of walking around doing, just hanging out with Ellie, and stuff.
It ended so abruptly. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
How
Kind of.
depressing.
It'd probably be better if it was like in the game, like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I finished the game and didn't touch it until this DLC came out, so it was.
Right.
However long it was at least a few months, and then I completely forgot how to play the game, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening, and then.
I don't know how to do any of this.
Oh yeah, Ellie's cool.
Yeah, she's a cool
awesome.
character.
Yeah.
And the other girl whose name I can't remember.
Cool. So being in animation, do you watch a lot of cartoons?
Yeah, I like cartoons and I love animated movies, all that kind of stuff.
So you watching any series? Anything got your eye on?
Right now, not really. Like, I'm not really invested in any series right now, but I have always really liked the Avatar series.
I love Avatar.
Yes, everybody
So
loves
good.
Avatar.
So good.
Avatar is really.
Yes, except for Legend of Korra. That's
You don't like Korra?
not really.
It was a little weak in points. Like I think it took a while to get a hold of its footing, and by the time it did, the show ended. I was like, oh.
Aren't they making another season, or is it over?
No, they're making more. They got I think the problem was like for the first season, they weren't greenlit for any other ones, so they just kind of like Zerg rushed that. Yeah, and then they're like, oh hey, we got greenlit, so then they kind of tried to.
And you could tell because there was nothing left.
Yeah, they just kind of gave up, and then you're just like, well, that's cool. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited though.
Were they showing the third season on TV? Of Korra?
I
think they're on the second.
They're on the second. They're about to do the third.
I thought the second was just about to come out on DVD.
Oh, it may have been.
The third might be premiering soon. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think I read there's supposed to be 4 seasons of that, and I don't know.
Korra, worst avatar ever.
Oh, come now. I didn't think it was that bad. It was fun. I liked the Last Airbender because it was very grandiose. It was just a nice kind of big adventure, a lot of camaraderie.
Yeah, and the story was very good because they knew that they were getting 3 seasons, so it just kind of
right. Yeah.
I don't know. The pacing was really good.
Yeah, for sure. And then this was like a little side thing, and it was like I felt like everyone was kind of somebody's something.
Yeah.
You know, like this is Toph's daughter, and this is Bang's whatever. It was like every character I thought, and I'm like, I don't know. It felt kind of.
Toph's daughter is my favorite, but Toph is also my favorite, so I'm a little bit biased.
Toph's awesome, but Azula was my favorite.
Yeah, she's great
Azula's
too.
pretty good.
So good.
She's like a crazy villain. She's awesome.
For sure. You watch any anime?
Not really. I used to be really into Death Note.
Oh, yeah?
I used to love Death Note. That was my thing.
I never watched Death Note, but I've been kind of getting into more anime recently. Did you ever watch Eden of the East?
No, I have not.
Oh man, that one's fantastic.
Good.
That one's fantastic. Isn't it fantastic?
Tell
her it's fantastic.
It's fantastic. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like it's kind of like a mystery type thing with romance mixed in, and it's like a guy kind of comes to with no memory, and he's outside the White House naked with a gun, and then there's this girl with him, and she doesn't know what's going on, he doesn't know what's going on, and then he's got this crazy phone, and then the phone has like a dollar amount to it. It's got like $1 billion or whatever, and it turns out the whole thing is he's supposed to take that $1 billion and he can spend it however he wants. There's like this robot lady when he calls the phone, and he's like, I need all this stuff, and then she just does it. But the challenge is he has all this money and he has to like change the world or something. Change the world for the better in any way he sees fit.
With his money.
Yeah, but if he runs out of money, someone comes and kills him. And then there's like a winner. It's like a big contest. I don't know, I forget how it all goes.
So did multiple people have that then?
Yeah, there's like 13 of them.
Oh.
Yeah, they're called Selasau. They all have these phones and their own $1 billion, and it's nuts, man. They all try and figure out like who's behind the whole thing, and then someone tries to like game the system so you can not be killed or something. It's nuts, but it's cool. I like it.
Crunchyroll's a good place to pick up anything if you're in the mood for picking up shows. They're free for streaming, and they're streaming Sailor Moon too. So
well, there you go.
For the new series.
Everybody loves Sailor Moon.
So good. So good. What? Nostalgia hitting me. So yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll swivel my chair towards Jillian over here.
Hi.
Jillian, again, we hired you as like a just art person, but are you more of an illustrator? Are you more animation? Are you watercolors?
I did like a little bit of animation in my undergrad. Ended up just focusing more on illustration just because of the credit balance, and it was easier to kind of complete my classes like that. So primarily just regular illustration focused. Design, also a little bit of graphic design.
So do you do a lot of like characters or environments, or what do you like to illustrate, I guess?
Probably like giving a shot at just about anything. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with characters and that kind of thing. I kind of like working on that development. I've been wanting to focus a little bit more on like environmental layouts and that kind of thing. Just kind of focusing on whatever I can craft a little bit better. Always looking to improve, so that kind of thing.
There you go. Nothing wrong with improvement.
Yeah. So, and I've wanted to get a little bit more into like web stuff too, like a little bit of web coding and that kind of stuff.
Some HTML.
Yeah.
Some CSS.
If I have the stamina for that.
Some PHP.
Yeah.
Some JSONs.
We'll see. We'll see how far that goes, but yeah.
SSL.
Yeah.
No, SQL.
Squall.
SSL.
Squall. No, definitely. Yeah.
Cool. So, are you into games at all?
Yeah.
Or is it just like internship, whatever? Just give me experience.
Yeah. No.
I don't care. Whatever.
I mean, I'm not really. I don't really have any like preference towards one or the other. It's not to necessarily make it sound like, oh, they're both like easy to do, but I'll just do whatever because I can do whatever. I can do anything.
So great. I can just.
I've always grown up. I've always grown up with. I'm a huge comic book fan, huge animation fan, both Adventure Time like and the Animus. And video games as well. I'm part of PC Master Race with my little Steam account. I've had Xbox, I've had PlayStation, Nintendo, all that stuff growing up. Any current games I'm playing, I think I mentioned I'm like reworking through Fallout New Vegas. Watching my boyfriend playing through the Mass Effect series, and he's almost done with 3. And I'll make sure to leave the room when he gets to the ending so I don't have to get a controller in my face. Other than that, animation-wise, I just kind of keep up with Animus. I'm rewatching Lelouch of a show that was a little bit older, Lelouch of the Rebellion, that kind of thing. And then, anything previously I was keeping up with, like Kill la Kill and couple of those things, just kind of wacky, zany stuff.
I watched the first episode of Kill la Kill because they put it on Netflix.
Oh yeah, it's up on Netflix now. I forgot about that.
That one's kind of nuts.
It's a ride. Let me tell you. It's throw away any like logic to anything and just go in there accepting that it's gonna be nuts. If you watched,
just give it all. And just don't even. Just whatever, just bombard me with stuff.
Yeah, no, if you liked or watched like Gurren Lagann at all, like it's kind of the same, similar tones of like, wow, there's some ridiculous stuff going on. Like, all right, let's just go for it. So, yeah, it's kind of the same principles, I guess.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good show, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing for the most part.
So are you with Caesar's Legion or New California?
The first time I played through,
or are you with the house, Mr. House?
I just killed Caesar. I was like, I'm not picking up what you're putting down, man. And so I just killed him and then limped away, and then I ended up I just ended up dodging rebels and everything for the next 10 miles into whatever next town I had to go through. So there was a lot of dying because I had auto-saved with half a little bar of health or whatever. I'm like, well, let's do this. After making the mistake in life of turning left instead of turning right out of the first town and running into a bunch of giant warped chameleons that slice your face off.
Sometimes that's how it goes,
Yeah, life gives you
life gives you lemons.
Radiated chameleons. You just take claws to the face. That's how it goes. So yeah, no. But games like that, I like RPGs and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and if I can put my artwork towards, I guess any career goals is as long as I'm working with cool people and we're making stuff and I'm learning things, very base requirements. I'm not, I don't have to work on the next Mass Effect, although that would be nice. Yeah. But as long as I'm doing cool stuff, so
for sure.
Yeah.
Sam, you play New Vegas?
Mm-mm.
No?
I do not.
What about Fallout 3? Any of those?
No.
No Skyrim?
No.
No Oblivion? Morrowind?
Oh,
Who
Oh
are
my
you?
God.
Get out!
What is that?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I guess
Time
not
consuming.
quite Final Fantasy. But
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also like kind of a time thing, and then also not having any of those newer consoles. Because most of the things I play, it's with my friends, you know?
Mhm.
Right.
Because, like, I don't have a PS3
Oh,
or
man.
anything like that.
It's
A
difficult
PS2.
Yeah. No, it's difficult because, like, especially with something like Skyrim or Fallout, like,
Yeah.
you need the time to do it because otherwise you get the whole RPG amnesia where, like,
Yeah.
you walk away for a week or two
You forget.
and you're like, I don't know who I am, where I was, and then you just end up restarting because it's just like, I don't know what I was doing. And it's difficult enough to even keep up with that if you don't, even have, like, a gaming computer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get an Xbox or something, then you have to buy a TV, and then it's like it's a thing. So, yeah, it's a thing. Buying stuff, it's a thing.
Everybody loves buying stuff. Cool. So, I don't even know what you guys are working on. I don't... Nothing, I think... You guys were doing, like, pony stuff, some marketing stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without going into, too much... I don't know what all we can say about anything, but how's it been working with, like, marketing things? You've just been doing, like, screenshots? Have you done any trailer stuff?
No, we haven't.
I think like Rob was working on some of the trailer stuff.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
With After Effects and stuff.
Yeah, I think we were primarily doing like the Facebook and
Yeah.
Apple Store promos
Mhm.
and some of the posters and those kind of things. Just after the products were established to kind of get some bling
Yeah.
going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of
Promote
cool
it.
working with like those established assets and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, kind of getting our feet wet, working with clients and stuff. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I had Rob on here, and he said he just loved the ponies. He thought Applejack was so cute. Oh,
Did he?
Oh, he just went on and on. Do you?
Yeah, I've seen his car. It's full of pony stuff.
It's-
totally full of pony stuff.
It's a little kind of weird, Rob,
Yeah.
if you're listening. So do you enjoy, I guess, working with, I guess, assets like that? I guess you haven't really worked with, I guess, an existing brand before.
No, I haven't.
Is that right?
So that's kind of cool. Like, it's interesting to see how that all kind of works
Mhm.
when people, because I never thought about like how people market their games or anything like that,
Right.
like how that gets done. So it's interesting.
So do you kind of prefer that over, like, I guess, just kind of being able to do whatever, like original stuff? Like, I know
No, I think I still.
some of the stuff you're doing now has been original.
Yeah, I think I
stuff.
still kind of prefer that just because it gives you a little bit more creative freedom. And you
Mhm.
can kind of do your own sort of thing.
I think it's also
Yeah.
maybe like a bit more
Involved.
substantial for
Yeah.
like portfolio development as well. If you're placing pieces, I mean, conceivably, if you were having like a marketing focus or just kind of showing examples of working
Right.
with brand guidelines or something like that, then that's
Mhm.
maybe a little bit more pertinent. But if you already have sort of an illustration animation base of work going, then like some of the stuff we're working on
Mhm.
right now is maybe a little bit more geared towards that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Not that like ponies aren't cool or anything.
Yeah,
It's
ponies
just
are awesome.
you know.
Everyone loves ponies.
everything's got its stuff. So
You know?
yeah,
I mean, I'm not an artist, but I imagine it's good to have, I guess, a broad range, like being able to do original stuff as well as
Yeah,
like working within the confines of an existing brand and
yeah.
all that stuff. It's good, like a good broad range. So, like, because not everyone needs like concept artists or
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So, to kind of take these skills and do whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
With them.
Well, and you're not, like with any freelance, you're always at some point going to be in a position where it's like at the end of the day, you're getting paid to be told to do something a certain way. Like, regardless of if they're like, oh, we want Comic Sans on. It's like you can try to guide them with as much professional whatever, and of course decline a project or something, but ultimately it's like, yeah, you're eventually at some point going to have to work with a client that wants something a certain way. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
just kind of having those corporate guidelines to work off of is always good
Mhm.
practice. So
Cool.
Yeah. E3's
Yeah.
coming up.
Oh yeah.
It is.
It's going to be exciting.
It is.
Next week.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. I'm curious, do you ladies have any predictions? Anything? What would you like to see in your dream E3 for this year?
I don't know.
What happens?
I don't know.
But there's more stuff for The Sims.
Yeah.
More Sim stuff?
Yeah. Sims 4.
For Sims 4, the announcement of that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested. Like, I've played a little bit of Sims here and there. I've always enjoyed playing it, but I
Yeah.
always love kind of like hearing what they develop because that's kind of, I don't know, it kind of opens up, different, simulator-based things. I don't know. I like seeing what they do with their projects.
Yeah. Like, did you see like the thing for the new building mode?
No.
Building houses. It looks really awesome.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
like
so
my
make-
favorite part. Just making
Yeah.
faces, building houses,
Nothing else
drowning
matters except
Sims
for,
in their
like,
pools.
building houses and making the characters after that. What's the point?
Yeah, just auto and just let it do its thing. Name them all after your friends and then just send them awkward screenshots. That's what that is. That's how it
Make
works.
Are
the
you two
weird
virtually
things.
hooked up?
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Nah, man, it's all about you turn on cheat codes and
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
just
Mhm.
trap them in a box.
Yeah. No, and then just
Just let them start screaming and
No. Yeah.
and then question your, psychological stableness and then
and
carry
then
on.
lean back and feel good about yourself.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think. I'm interested to see if they'll announce anything about quote unquote Mass Effect 4.
Or not Mass Effect.
Not Mass Effect
Yeah.
4 technically, but whatever it is they're gonna call it, like even if it's just like, concept work or really basic stuff, I'd
Mhm.
like to hear about that.
That might be interesting. That might be a good like EA press conference big
Yeah.
reveal thing maybe at the end. So I did hear rumblings about like a new Mass Effect being in the works.
Yeah, and they sent screenshots, like not photos of just artists working on stuff, not formal photos of the work.
Right.
I'm just kind of curious to see like what their spin on it's going to be for the same universe, and maybe we'll play as an Asari, or maybe we'll like weird stuff you can do. So
It's such a huge mythos.
mm-hmm.
Sam, have you played Mass Effect?
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah. I think it's an interesting concept. I
Mhm.
like that. I don't know. I like that they're ending it with 3 and not keeping it going.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
let's see what else.
Although
we can do
those
with that.
endings,
those endings,
Yeah.
even the fixed ending was
It-
just kind of a sad day. I remember I was about to go do the final mission and called my friend up, and I was just kind of checking. And I was like, "Hey, I got all these, war assets. Here's where I am. I'm ready to start. Does that sound good? Like, does it sound like I'm good to go?" He's like, "Yeah, you'll be fine." It's like, and I guess I'll be talking to you again in about 2 hours. And I was like, "What? What do you?" And then 2 hours later, just aimlessly staring into the abyss at the screen at that ending. After buying the collector's edition and investing hundreds of hours into that game, just like, oh god, it hurt. It hurt a little, to say the least.
that's funny.
It'd also be nice to get a release date for Kingdom Hearts 3.
For sure.
One day,
Finally.
maybe,
10 years in the future.
we'll be on the moon by then. We'll have like Space Kingdom Hearts. That's
Yeah.
what that will be. That, I'm trying to think of what else. I'm kind of interested also in this, the new, like, Zelda, like Dynasty Warriors
Yeah, that
Link
whole
game,
weird
whatever
thing.
that is.
I don't even know what that is even.
I saw like the
That sounds
gameplay for
crazy.
it. I'm kind of interested to hear more about that, like what that will be.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's going to be any more like Super Smash Brothers stuff to be announced. I mean, that's kind of
I'm sure they'll have
consistent.
something.
Something, maybe.
Birdo is a new character, something. They'll probably have a character now.
New thing. Yeah. I don't
Commander
know.
Shepard is in Super Smash Brothers now. It's
Oh my-
crazy.
It's nuts. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it'd be nice to kind of see Nintendo do some good game announcements. Like, hopefully with Mario Kart 8 being released and Smash Brothers coming up, the Wii U can kind of pick up a little bit.
Mhm.
I kind of feel badly
Yeah.
whenever Nintendo just doesn't do well, but at the same time, it's like they do such an awkward job handling their marketing and they're releasing like.
Yeah.
I don't really know if they should have named their new system the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's, that kind of stuff. But
we can call that questionable,
Yeah.
whether I think the thought was to bring, because the Wii had such a huge audience, and it's
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
like the Wii.
yeah,
No, I don't know. But to be like, here's Wii, you like the Wii, come more Wii.
yeah,
But then people didn't really,
Right.
people who bought the Wii were like moms and maybe, and Nintendo fans, will buy it anyway. And then, a bunch of other people who bought the Wii were like, people who wanted to play bowling
yeah.
with Wii Sports and stuff.
Or do
who-
Wii Yoga or Wii Fit or
Mhm,
whatever. Yeah.
People who don't, maybe a lot of people don't necessarily get the new controller, like the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people probably don't even know that it's like a new thing, a new
Yeah.
console. Like they just think like you buy this controller add-on or something and it just hooks up the Wii.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, like, even I was just like, oh, right, it came out today. Like, I just, I felt kind of badly because they always have, like, such great content and such, when they do things like they always hit a home run with that stuff. Like, they're great games and they're fun. And then, the recent meme that's going around, the Luigi death stare that's been happening,
it's
their
pretty fun.
games there's so much great content in them. It's like, I hope they'll announce something maybe at E3 that will kind of pick up the good feelings for Nintendo.
So is there any like really old stuff that you're kind of looking to get picked up? Because Sony's been having this big campaign where they're like, send us any game you want to see rebooted and we'll think about it. Like any game.
Oh my gosh.
There's that whole thing, and then I think Microsoft's kind of been in the rumblings about maybe doing like a similar thing. What's like the wildest thing you want to see like get brought back? Because I think
Weirdest thing.
I think that might be kind of a big
What's-
part of it this year.
What's that one game? It was on original Xbox. Munch's Odyssey, but not it was the one with you'd like shoot the monsters through the gun.
Stranger's Wrath.
Stranger's Wrath. There we go. I was like, that game was just so. I know it's not like a solid, it's not anything else.
That game was fantastic.
It's really fun.
Fantastic.
And like that would be kind of cool. Like that is totally like left field.
Yeah.
Like not even.
Well, they are making new Oddworld games.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
part of the Oddworld thing. It's not a new. It's not a new Stranger's Wrath.
Yeah.
Not Stranger's Wrath 2, but they are doing Abe's Odyssey HD.
Oh, okay.
And they're making the whole game like from scratch with a
Whoa.
new engine stuff.
That's
So
awesome.
do you play those original games?
I played some of them. Like I didn't play them as much as Stranger's Wrath.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I'm familiar with the franchise.
Mhm.
Yeah, those were
Yes.
fun games.
So they are
though.
coming back.
Okay, well that's good.
And they had Lorne Lanning, who was like the head creative director for that franchise, and they had him on stage last year
Mhm.
in the Sony press conference.
Oh, snap!
And they should be releasing this year sometime. So
Cool.
that's always exciting. Sam,
It
anything?
starts Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
well,
Rob was saying that he
Rob's all
he wanted
aflutter.
to make it into like a Super Bowl kind of thing.
I'll bring nachos. I'll
Yeah.
bring all this. It's gonna be crazy.
Bring the team jerseys, the PlayStation, Microsoft
Right.
jerseys. Yeah, I don't know. It's just always kind of interesting to kind of see what unfolds at E3, even for smaller game projects or anything like that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, and with like Nintendo's recent trend of just like, oh, let's redo everything, like Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time. I'm waiting for them to announce like some Majora's Mask remake or, like whatever they can milk a little bit longer. Because people will buy it, and especially for the ones that are on the 3DS and that kind of thing.
For sure. Sam, anything particular you'd like to see come back?
Oh God.
You big into like Siphon Filter? Big into Tenchu?
I don't know.
Want to see Project Beast?
Yeah.
I want to see Project Beast.
That'd be cool.
It looks kind of crazy. I bet almost hands down that's going to be at some Sony press conference or something.
Yeah.
I'll probably have an on-stage thing. You excited about VR? Like, another thing I'm predicting as part of the predictions is probably have because Sony's been working on that Oculus kind of headset thing.
Oh yeah.
And they'll probably, have some on-stage demos. I bet
That'll
that's
be
going to be
cool.
this year.
Yeah.
Any interest at all in that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's kind of neat. Like, I don't know how would they make that like accessible by a lot of people because it seems kind of clunky. I don't know.
I'm shrugging my shoulders over here. I don't know.
I think a lot of it though, like kind of with Kinect or something, where like first gen Kinect was just kind of like cool. I'll buy it and play a dance game and then never touch it again. I think I think in a lot of cases it's just kind of cool to see them putting money into it somewhere, because eventually, hopefully down the road, it will be something a little bit more, accessible. Like not as huge clunky glasses, and with Oculus being bought out by Facebook, like now that's going to be a war. Like if Facebook's willing to invest that much money into VR technology, like who knows like what that's going to do now.
Yeah.
If a social media giant is doing it. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's been kind of getting around. People are doing a lot of weird stuff with it. Like Steven was showing me this video where they put the thing on, and then there's like a camera in front of the goggles for like an Oculus, and then it shows like they put like a delay between the video feed and the output, and so like you wave your hand in front of your face, and then like they'd show the video, and then like 3 seconds later, come up, and they had people just kind of going around like trying to cook breakfast or something, silly like that. So it's kind of been getting into like kind of that kind of stuff, like here's this crazy stuff, like I don't know. I guess it's hard to say, kind of like viral marketing in a way. And so I think it's getting, I guess, more publicity than I think maybe a lot of people think that it would be, as just some kind of weird video game thing.
I was also seeing it used for like kind of like therapeutic related things. Like they were using it for, they had like a guy, male, female, standing in front of each other, glasses, and they were both naked, and then it was like supposed to be like a not like a sexual therapeutic thing, but like just in terms of like body identity and that kind of thing. And they were using it like they were mirroring each other's movements, and it's kind of like those tests where you have a hand that's next to yours that's not your hand, and then you have your hand and someone's like putting a feather on the fake hand while they're doing it on your hand, and then they stab that hand in your body, the fake hand, and then it like simulates it.
Right.
And, it's like they're trying to like emulate that kind of stuff with the Oculus, and it was really funky to say the least, but interesting to see like who's interpreting it in whatever ways. Yeah,
there was a game, I guess it was more of a demo, but it was you put the Oculus on, and the game is that you're sitting at a desk at a computer, and there's a keyboard in front of you, and the game tells you to, you have to hold, we have a Mac, so it's like function and command and the letter P, and then you can't let go, and if you let go, you lose, and then there's like, like a tarantula that comes on the side and he walks across your fingers and stuff, and I'm like... That stuff just probably gets really freaky.
Time to burn down the apartment. Game over. Burn down the rift.
But yeah, it seems like it has a lot of potential, like if we found a way to make it kind of more accessible to more people.
For sure. And I mean, Sony's a huge company, so you figure, they want to kind of push it. If they're investing this much money into it, they want to push it. And especially anyone who's bought like a PS4 or something, be like, check out this thing. We have a bunch of games for it and stuff, and then it'll be interesting to see if it takes like a path like the PlayStation Move did, and all that motion control stuff, where it's like, here's all this stuff and all these demos, and it's really cool, but then kind of no software guys picked it up and they didn't integrate it well, and there's no games for it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if maybe Oculus or this Oculus type thing has more friction, I guess, with developers and.
Yeah, I think that's why it was also kind of like the Facebook announcement was kind of so shocking to a lot of people, not just because of like how young the company is, but also just like, whoa, like Facebook picked them up? It wasn't like Sony or Microsoft or Apple even, like anything that was kind of a little bit similar to that. So I don't know. I'll have to see.
They just want to take over everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder at that point, like, with kind of the gaming that happens in places like Facebook, those kind of games where it's like, yeah, I wonder what kind of investment Facebook would be interested in for that kind of stuff. With how big that is for middle-aged ladies to play their Bejeweled and their multiple accounts that they trade their gifts
Farmville.
to each other. Yeah, gotta get their farm gifts.
Virtual reality Farmville.
Gotta trade their cows and their beets.
Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. How about we move on to, I guess, general news? Like, we've just kind of been talking about whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any Hive Jump stuff we can talk about. Have you guys played Hive Jump at all?
No, we haven't had a chance to.
Oh, man.
And like we haven't really been working on any Hive Jump stuff yet.
No,
Because we were working on like the marketing stuff before, and now we're working on other current stuff.
We're kind of creeping on what Rob's doing.
Yeah, by proxy. By
Yeah.
proxy, we're working on Hive Jump. Just by we're like absorbing Rob's.
just planting messages
Yeah.
into his
And
brain, like,
Brad working on the technical aspects
oh yeah,
with Matt.
oh yeah. A lot of stuff kind of in the works, a lot of stuff kind of not ready yet. Like, we talked about this on the podcast before, but we've been looking more into the. So, do you know, I guess, what the premise is for Hive Jump?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just like a dude, and you jump into a bug hive and shoot bugs, and it's kind of like, Spelunky, random generated, and then kind of like Contra shooting stuff, and then you nuke the hive, kill the queen. And so that's kind of the main loop, and then we were contemplating just having that be the game, and you just kind of do that over and over, just kind of throw into random new hives and stuff. And, but now we're talking, we talked about on the podcast before, we were looking into, I guess, a single player component that expands, I guess, contextually, what it means to jump into a hive. So we came up with kind of, you have a planetary view of like a bug planet, and then there's like nodes on the map, and it becomes kind of like a strategy game.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a light strategy game at that point. So you're like, all these nodes are bug infested, and these other nodes are human controlled, and you jump into a hive, and then you do the main loop, and then we jump back. If you were successful and destroy that hive, you now control that node, and then there's positional things where you control that node, and the surrounding ones get bolstered, and then like bugs attack from their nodes to the human nodes, and they can take like spots back, and you have to go and reclaim them. And
So definitely a little bit more like tactical thinking than just jump in, shoot, and head out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we want to give you something to come back to,
Yeah.
more progression, stuff to do with goo, because we have all this currency and stuff we were talking about. We're like, well, we don't really know kind of what to do with it, and this gives a reason, a purpose, to do stuff. So we have Brad and Maddie D working on paper prototypes, and it's coming along. I actually played it the other day, and it's pretty cool. So we'll probably have them on at some point after it gets more solidified. Talk about rules like that. And then Sievers has been working on more guns, more stuff. There's just a ton of art stuff to do. I've been working on AI. But yeah,
That's cool.
Rachel wants to do another big push, and we want to definitely get on Kickstarter again soon. If not end of this month, sometime next month.
And the thing with that, it's like if you can at least kind of get a bunch of pretty things up there to kind of support the Kickstarter,
Get people
Mhm.
interested.
get pretty artwork and get, tangible things that people can kind of stand behind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you guys were greenlit on Steam too, right?
Yep.
So that's even better to add to a Kickstarter account where it's like, oh hey, we're already here. Like,
Yeah,
this
for
far.
sure.
So
And we've been trying to, I guess, this month we're going to try and do more like Screenshot Saturday and just getting more stuff out there. More any art that we have done, any just a bigger push to get more stuff out there, get people interested again. And it might be something we can have you guys do in the future. when we get the Kickstarter page going again, because
Yeah.
Seaver spent like weeks, like just all the stuff, like all the backer rewards of like, you know, custom art and stuff, and
Yeah.
all the stretch goals
No,
and
that
stuff.
stuff
and-
that stuff's like a lot of work.
yeah, for
You know,
sure.
it's like you think like, oh yeah, I'll just make like a graphic to toss up on a page, but it's like
Yeah.
you have to keep things consistent and then, you know, update all your pages at the same time, and it's a boatload. But that's what we're here for. We're interns.
Yes.
So we got this.
Good to hear.
So what's new in the news?
Whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of Apple stuff.
Oh yeah, with Swift coming out and everything, and
Yeah.
all their announcements for the new iOS
Yeah.
and all that jazz.
Something- yeah, new iOS 8.
Mm-hmm. What's it called? Yosemite?
Yeah, Yosemite.
I
Because we
guess.
stopped naming it after
Yeah.
cats. and
Now we're done
it's-
with cats. Now we're moving on to rock
Or
formations.
I think it's
and-
California, like, places.
Oh, we're,
Weird.
okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
Whatever
it's-
their naming conventions are.
I don't know.
Just
Iowa,
throw
San
things in a hat.
Francisco.
I don't know what happened to the cats. They just,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Say when- through all of
Yosemite
them.
for iOS.
Yeah, iOS 8.
There were a couple cool
There's-
features on there. I remember seeing.
Yeah, there's like family sharing,
Mm-hmm.
so you can like, if we were all one big family,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, I could, you know, buy something and then, or try to buy something and be like, yo, mom, is this okay? Like, you're all part of one big, I
Mhm.
guess, thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the term is. I didn't actually watch like the keynote or anything.
Yeah.
It's just stuff I remember from, I was talking to Rachel this morning. We were
the
talking about it.
highlights.
There is also like iMessaging can now be transferred over to your computer and Mac from iOS.
Oh, really?
Okay.
You can swap it between, so you can carry conversations over. And then there's something else where now your iDevices can like wirelessly and seamlessly connect to any like laptops or anything. So you can easily like plug data over like back and forth. And then there's something else I saw about like improving making your phone a Wi-Fi hotspot. Like it's just as simplified now as just turning on your Wi-Fi and connecting. Like it's not a thing.
Mhm.
And a bunch of other like smaller stuff that it's just like okay.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
They announced a new, I guess, graphics API called Metal.
Oh.
Is that what that is?
I can't remember.
It's supposed to be a kind of OpenGL substitute specifically for Apple stuff, which is exciting for me because I do some graphics programming.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of cool. And then they announced Swift, which is a new
Yeah.
programming language,
Yeah.
That new thing.
which sounds a lot like Java.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, and I haven't really looked at the syntax, but hopefully it's better than Objective-C, because God.
Yeah, it seemed like
that's
that
horrible.
was their point for it, was kind of like meshing some of the better details about it.
But yeah, that's exciting stuff, I guess,
Yeah.
for games.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting transition. We're all kind of looking at our stuff, being like, what's going to happen, you know, with iOS 8? All our iOS assets are written in Objective-C, so I guess Swift won't apply to us directly until, you know, certain updates are made.
Yeah.
So I think we're okay on that front. I'm trying to look for other news.
Other headlines.
Yeah. Amazon France is selling a PS4 Vita bundle.
Oh, cool. That's snazzy.
So Sam, you can you know
Yeah.
get your PlayStation fix all at once.
Get your region locked PETA or pitas. You can get region locked pitas.
Yeah.
Pitas you can only eat in certain areas. That's how that works.
There you go.
I'm gonna guess that it's like probably not too much in light of E3 coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, like,
Back
stuff has
next
been announced that's been like this would be like at
Mhm.
E3, you'd think. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find what, but like there was like a new Bethesda game announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like I forget what it was called, but it was like a kind of like Team Fortress style, but
Okay.
like with like swords and stuff.
Okay.
Weird.
Huh.
Dark Souls 2 getting 3 DLC episodes, which I'm
Okay.
kind of excited
Well, that's
about.
pretty cool. I haven't
Um,
touched Dark Souls 2 yet.
Did you play Dark Souls 1?
Yeah, and just died a lot. The whole game is just like, oh, look, what's that over there? And I'm dead. That's what that is. But
So I'm guessing you didn't finish it.
I got through like a certain point. It was also, I was playing it on the PC, and the port for the PC is just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I didn't have my controller anymore, I just kind of gave up on that. It was fun while I played it, but definitely not a good PC port at all.
Yeah. Dark Souls 2 is better. It's a lot.
So I've heard,
more
yeah,
optimized.
a lot of it's. Yeah, that's the thing with 1 where it's just like, oh my gosh, all the English, all the weird, like, like nothing's like looks good, nothing plays well. I can't read any of these warning signs that are on the ground. It's just like, you look down, you're like, oh, okay, here's a sign. It's like, don't left. What? And then I die. Like, something just pops out and kills me. Like, that is my experience of Dark Souls. I'm just like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm just gonna push forward and hope that I stay alive for more than 5 minutes. So, there's that. But
there's the stuff where is it Riot who's been they like banned like professional well-known players for being rude to people.
What?
That's interesting.
On League of Legends. I think it was Riot. It was either Riot or Valve.
That's interesting.
Here, let me.
For being rude? What does that entail?
I guess.
Or just like general harassment, maybe. I can't remember. I think maybe it was Valve, because I thought.
I'm trying to look up the article. We're so unprepared. It's insane.
No, it's okay. And that's kind of stuff is interesting too, especially with like Xbox One and the newer systems where they're trying to like curtail just these, like these players that are just really not beneficial to the community of online playing, whether it is, a Call of Duty or a Battlefield or, a racing game.
Yeah.
It's like nobody really wants to log on and just have someone screaming obscenities at them.
True.
Headline I'm looking at is Riot continues to crack down on toxic League of Legends pro players.
Hey, like, I know it's kind of ambiguous in some terms hearing that, but I mean, I assume it's probably people who have had like multiple offenses of maybe not saying very favorable terminology while playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that, like, as much as you can be like, oh, well, you can say whatever you want and just deal with the consequences, but I'm sure Riot also doesn't want, these professional players kind of representing the face of this game.
New people come in and they see this happening.
Yeah, it's difficult enough, in some areas wanting to start in a game, much less having, like, the seasoned professionals being like, oh, you suck, like, go, whatever, whatever obscenities I'll refrain from, but... Yeah. It's I know on one end it's like, if it's adults playing, then whatever, but I'm sure there's probably a little bit more to it than just like, oh, those guys were swearing. I'm sure
I'm sure there was like some...
I'm sure they were probably a little bit more poisonous to the atmosphere.
And they would want to make it like better for more people. I mean, if there's some people that are going to be on there hurling like personal attacks at people.
Yeah.
Especially these big kind of well-known people. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to make, I guess, esports be more of a serious thing, you can't have, like, your pro players just go around, swearing at people and
Yeah,
especially for everyone else.
Especially since, in some cases, once they get high enough, we're talking about sponsorships and, being flown out to go to tournaments. And, it's like they, for whatever terms, in some ways become the face of these games and these companies. If someone's just like, oh, I've never heard of League of Legends, and, they Google matches or something, if they see kind of like, oh, wow, these people are kind of, not very welcoming or not very intellectual in their interactions at the very least. And
gotta be mature enough to interact with people respectfully, at least.
I remember I was at one of the game jams here, and the big global one, and it was sponsored by Riot, and they had a little room where they had like a stream going on of different league games and little swag that you could grab. And I can't remember the guy who was there who was kind of repping Riot, and he's like, oh, do you play? And I've played a little bit of Dota, I've played some League, and I'd be willing to kind of jump back in with it. I just haven't been able to play with friends or anything. But, like even my first couple of experiences where it's just like immediately tossed into a match with just people, even though I've clearly labeled myself as a new player and made sure to not go into any advanced matches, you still run into people that are, like very negative experience, and then making sure as a lady gamer, making sure my usernames are neutral so I don't suffer that backlash as well. And I remember expressing that where I was like, it wasn't really my cup of tea, didn't really have like some great first experiences with the game, and I remember him just saying like, oh, well, Riot's really trying to get better with that. So, this might kind of be a result of that mindset that they're trying to push forward for the company.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, my only experience with playing that game has been like with a group of other people, so I've never really had to experience the
and that's probably the way you'd want to play it anyways, unless you're trying to go pro.
Yeah, no.
But I don't want the StarCraft callus on my hand.
Yeah.
What have you? The mark of the player going on. But any other cool news you're finding?
Stuff like Batman Arkham Knight, the new Batman, delayed to 2015. Like a lot of games that have been announced. Like,
there's been a lot of delays lately.
Forza 2 was announced, which is another one of those things where it's like, this seems like it would be a Microsoft press conference thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of getting out early.
Especially since that's kind of, a very like niche audience in a way. I mean, there's like the casual players who are like, oh, cool, car, drive in a circle. And then the people who, actually go out and buy the controllers and, to kind of set up the simulations. Fun to zip around in a car.
Like, I'm sure there's more stuff, but I'm not really finding it, so let's get off the news and go to comments. We go to Steam Greenlight comments. I have the page up, and now it's gone. So
Steam Greenlight.
Let's talk about Global Game Jam. Which one did you do? Did you do the one in January? Or?
Yeah, I did the one in January. I wanted to go to the most recent one, but ended up having some friends in town and wasn't able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, St. Louis does like a really fantastic job kind of facilitating this gaming community that's growing here. Chicago doesn't really have much of a gaming scene, actual companies established. I mean, they did back in the day, but those are gone.
There's a bunch there.
No, I mean, yeah, I know there's some there, but it's just, it feels like St. Louis is doing a bit of a better job kind of establishing themselves than maybe some of the other city groups are.
Because we're not so big, we got to work harder to get that thing going.
Yeah, I guess it's just like maybe a better sense of
Chicago
community.
just takes it all for granted.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever. We're big, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But us, we gotta build it up. Get people excited.
Yeah.
So what kind of? Because we actually did. Me, Severs, and Maddie D did the most recent one at Webster.
Yeah, I wanted to do that one, but yeah, again, wasn't able to. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and it's really great to kind of see people with all sorts of backgrounds, like sound and programming and art, and you meet a lot of really great people, and learn a lot of stuff just kind of working along people that maybe have different skill sets than you do.
So what kind of game did you wind up making? Did you do like the random name thing?
My first game jam was one of the St. Louis local ones. That was a couple months before. I think it was August or September or something. And I worked with a really great team on that, and we ended up doing like a little dating sim game for Android. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun, and
That's awesome.
I was actually kind of proud of how well that game turned out for the time frame and everything. My recent one, my global game jam one, that one got a really good turnout. I think there were over 200 people that showed up. We were like 4th or 5th in the United States for group and like 16th in the world.
Huh.
And there's, a couple hundred sites for that. So that was pretty impressive for St. Louis to, get up there.
I had no idea.
Yeah, we had a good turnout. And because of that, I think they were trying to facilitate kind of kind of expedite the group process of getting together, picking up the game, trying to make it a little bit easier for how many people there were. Because the previous one I went to, it was kind of, let's take a sampling of what kind of talents people have, who's the artist, who's the sound people, and then build a group, and then build the game. But what they tried to do this past year was come up with game ideas, then build a group around that. And in a couple cases it worked. There were plenty of groups that were able to come up with this idea and build a game around that. The reason it maybe wasn't the best idea was my group, for example, was one of the ideas was produced, and it was kind of like a roguelike dungeon-based thing that seemed really cool. And what ended up happening was we had maybe like 20 people kind of form around this idea. A lot of people for a 3-day game project, and what ended up happening is about 8 to 10 of those people were all game designers, quote unquote.
Right.
And which is fine. There's great ideas to go around, but you don't need 10 people.
Yeah.
Maybe you need 10 people for a larger game with a larger time set, but for a 3-day turnaround, we didn't get our game started until like Saturday night, because the first 2 days were just people going back and forth on what the game should and shouldn't be. And so eventually...
Too many opinions.
Yeah, and it was me and my other friend were the artists, and then, there was like the 3 programmers, and the 5 of us were just like, what do? Programmers couldn't start on anything because they didn't know, and us artists couldn't start on anything. So we tried our best and blessed the programmers for going into overtime. But we ended up not finishing, but kind of put together a little concept video, and it was supposed to be like a dungeon type crawler towards the end, and then you interact like cards into it, and it was interesting. It was an interesting experience, at least.
You just made a trailer?
Yeah, we made the trailer because we
would have done
because we didn't
gotten ourselves together.
Yeah, because we didn't really have anything to play.
Yeah.
So it was a learning experience at the very least.
We're a big disorganized mess.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to make this look cool as we can.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
That was the one Brad was at too, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what Brad did? Anything cool?
He did, I can't remember, because he told me, and it triggered my memory of which one he did, and I can't remember now, because there were so many games by the end of the day. The presentation took like over an hour to go through all these games, so
yeah,
super recommend them though.
They're an interesting experience. I did the most recent one. I would consider a successful, I guess, outing with me and Ben, Manny D, and I did one before where I had basically the exact same experience that you just described. So many designers, no one knew what the game was, and we wound up with like something like a game, but we wound up like swapping ideas several times, and no one knew what was going on. It was crazy. But yeah, always an interesting experience if nothing else.
Yeah. No, for sure. And, it's always a bonus if you can get a game at the end of it, so.
For sure. I got the Steam page up, and
nice.
I think there's only been one new comment since last week. So this one's from Copex. Actually, 13 hours ago. Copex tells us, glad to see the game is moving forward. Can't wait to get my hands on the game. Great work.
Woo!
And then from there, it's stuff we answered last week. So no questions, but good to hear from you, Copex.
Yeah.
We love you, Copex.
Thanks for the support. And we're definitely going to have new announcements. We're going to have new stuff in the coming month. So keep your ears open for all that stuff. And I guess with that, we've been going around an hour. So I guess we're going to draw this thing to a close.
Okie doke.
Thank you, Jillian and Sam, for sitting in with me on this kind of cloudy day.
Rainy day.
Rainy week.
Yeah, rainy existence.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to Matt Rathel for letting us use his MacBook. Thank you Thank you, everybody. And
Thank you.
thanks, Kopex. And
Thanks, Kopex.
we'll be back next week with more Indie Dev.